Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're looking at a real story. It's a 4-year journey of learning English. Learning a new language is hard, right? We all know that. But we can learn so much by seeing how other people try, fail, and succeed. Let's start this journey together. Okay, let's dive into this. How do you study English? Do you read books? Do you watch movies? Or maybe you take classes? Think about your own habits for a second. Everyone is different. Today, we're going to look at one person's reading record to see how their study methods changed over time.
Section 1. The English Study Journey. Finding the right study method takes time and a lot of trial and error.
And this brilliantly illustrates our timeline. The journey starts in September 2012. Then it moves to December 2012 and January 2013. Finally, there's a big jump to November 2016. That is 4 whole years of testing different ways to learn English. Here we have the 4 specific books this person read. First up is Self-Study English for 40-year-olds. Next is Never Study English. Then Reading English Jokes. And finally, English Grammar for 100 million people. You can see they tested a bunch of different ideas during this period. They definitely didn't just stick to one style.
Section 2. Starting with writing. Let's jump back to September 2012.
The first book on the list is Self-Study English for 40-year-olds by Yoko Sasano. The reader started their journey with a book focused purely on self-study for adults. And this makes total sense. Adults just learn differently than kids do. We need practical ways to study by ourselves. In their personal notes, the reader wrote, for the second time, focused on English writing. It's very clear, early on their main focus was entirely on practicing English writing. They really wanted to build better sentences. Writing is a very common starting point for adults because it gives you time to think and check your grammar.
Section 3. Methods that fail. Because, not every book works for every person. In December 2012, they tried a new book called Never Study English by Zhang Chanyoung. The title sounds amazing, right? This book promised success without normal studying. It basically tells people to just listen and not use traditional textbooks. And of course, a lot of learners really like this idea. Who wouldn't want to learn without studying?
But here's the truth. The reader actually wrote a review saying this method was not great. It just didn't work for them. Instead, they realized that a different approach, Yukio Nogushi's Super English method, fit their goals much better. The lesson here is huge. A popular book is not always the right book for you.
Let's move to and see how this builds into their next attempt in January 2013. The reader tried a book called Reading English Jokes by Seiji Nakano. The whole idea was to learn culture and language by reading jokes. It definitely sounds like a fun way to learn. Usually, understanding humor means you really understand the language. But look at this honest review. They just wrote, "Too hard," with a little crying face emoji. This is so relatable. Sometimes a study method is just way too difficult to be useful right now. Jokes use a lot of idioms, slang, and cultural context. If your level isn't ready for that, it just gets frustrating. It's totally okay to admit a book is too hard and simply put it down. Section 4. Grammar for Speaking. Let's fast forward to November 2016 to see a major shift in their strategy. After a long break, they picked up a brand new book. This one is called English Grammar for 100 Million People by Hiroto Onishi. They read this in November 2016. Now, grammar can sound pretty boring to a lot of people. We usually think of grammar as just strict rules for passing tests or reading. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the reader's reaction. Their note simply says, English Grammar for Speaking. You can just feel the excitement there. They finally found a way to look at grammar that actually made sense. They weren't learning rules just to pass a test. They were learning rules so they could actually speak to people. That is a huge success. Section 5. Finding Your Own Way. Let's look at the big lesson from this 4-year log. So the crucial point is this. The reader tried writing first. Then they tried passive studying, but that failed. Next, reading jokes was just too hard. Finally, they found success with grammar designed specifically for speaking. Failing with some books is completely normal. It's just part of the path to finding what actually works for you. I want to leave you with this final question. Which method works for you? As we saw in this explainer, there is no single magic book out there. You might need to try writing, listening, or learning speaking rules. If one way feels not great or too hard, please don't give up. change your method, keep trying new things, and eventually you will find your own success. Thanks for exploring this journey with me today.